Hi, I'm Lisa and welcome to my channel, The Southern Seamstress. I'm so glad you stopped by today because I've got a lot to share with you. For several weeks now, I've been working on some projects for my Operation Christmas Child Shoeboxes. If you're not familiar with Operation Christmas Child, it's an annual project put on by an organization called Samaritan's Purse. There are a lot of YouTube videos out there talking about Operation Christmas Child, so I'm not going to go in too much detail, but it is a project I participate in every year. I will link their website in case you want to find out more information about the project, or if you want to participate in the project, it will give you all the guidelines for packing your shoe boxes. The shoe boxes are collected usually the week before Thanksgiving, so we still have several more months to work on items going into our shoe boxes. When you pack a shoebox, you will have a label to put on top of your shoebox that designates whether it's for a boy or girl, and also which of the three age groups the items are appropriate for. The three age groups are 2 to 4, 5 to 9, and 10 to 14. I usually pack about 24 to 30 shoe boxes a year. I do have one sister that helps me collect some of the items. In each of my shoe boxes, I like to include at least one handmade item. And some of those items are what I'm going to be sharing with you today. Now, some of you may have seen an earlier video I did on Operation Christmas Child. I think I did it in October of last year, and I talked about some of the items I was making for those boxes. In today's video, these items are going to be completely different than those. I think I've got about 7 items to share, and all of these are free patterns except for one, and it's a very inexpensive pattern. Now, I know this video is going to be a little bit lengthy, so let's get started with the first item. As I mentioned, all these patterns are free except for one item, and that's the item I'm going to start with. That item is the Emery Bib Vest, which is featured on the I Think So website. Now, this bib vest pattern I wanted to make for the youngest age group, which is 2 to 4. The vest pattern itself is just a one size, and it's 6 to 18 months. So if I made it without any alterations, it would probably be a little too small for 2 to 4 year olds. So what I did was printed out the pattern. It only has 3 pieces, which is the front, the back, and the pocket. So I just played around with enlarging it on my printer, and I first tried 120%, but it seemed like it was just going to be too big. So what I decided on was 110%. And I didn't have any children available to model my vests that were the right age group. So I'm hoping this is large enough for a 2 to 4 year old. It is supposed to be a little bit loose on them because it's supposed to be more of a bib than a regular vest. So enlarging the pattern to 110%, my measurements came out from the edge of the shoulder to the edge of this shoulder was about 9 inches. And right underneath the armholes across the chest is about 14 inches. So it'd be about 28 around. And then the length from the top of the neck edge to the bottom is about 12 inches. So maybe if you have children that are 2 to 4, you could let me know in the comments whether you think this is going to fit that child. And then I'll wait till see your comments before I make any more of these. So as a bib, you wear this solid part in the front, and then you can put a pocket on it if you want. The construction is very simple. It's totally lined, and you go through different steps of turning different parts at a time, and then you finish up with sewing across the bottom and turning it. And then the back is just closed off with a little Velcro strip. So no buttons or snaps. Now it says you can also have the child, they can also turn it around this way and wear it as a fun little play vest. So it is reversible from front to back. But as a bib, you would wear it right here. Now the first one I made was this one. And I actually put on the front I used this laminated cotton that I had gotten earlier this year, I think from Splash Fabrics. You may have seen one of my kitchen videos where I had made a reusable snack bag. So this is laminated cotton, so I thought that would be easy to wipe off, and they wouldn't have to like wash it the whole thing each time. I had several different colorways of this kind of linen-like look, I guess. I had a gray, red, and blue. Splash Fabrics sells their fabric by the half yard, but when I ordered mine, I tried their scrap bundle. I actually got a scrap bundle, and it had just varying widths. The largest, I think, was a half a yard, and then it went down to maybe like 5 inches strips, but they're all really long, like 54 inches. So I thought this gray was a nice neutral. I got both of these cute little cotton fabrics from my local Walmart store. And since I did the laminated cotton, I decided not to put a pocket on this one. So that's the first one. I've only made 2, and then this one I did all in quilter's cotton. Now this owl print and the polka dots are just a fat quarter collection I got off of Etsy. And then the yellow and the green are, I think, from Hobby Lobby. But I think that's just really cute, and I know it will fit at least a 2-year-old, but I'm hoping it will fit a 3- and 4-year-old. So the pattern sells for $2.99, so pretty inexpensive. I think if you maybe had a children's vest pattern in your collection, I think you could just modify it to make a similar type bib vest, and you wouldn't need to purchase anything. I did make one modification on the second one. On the original pattern, it has the sides kind of come up in a scallop. So you had to like stop and start at a certain point, and then you had to match all this up at the bottom. So to make it go quicker, I just redid my pattern so that this edge is straight across. And it did speed things up, just not having to match up different points as much. And I think it looks just as cute on the sides. So I did modify that. So that's the Emery Bib Vest pattern by I Think So. So my next 2 patterns are from the same website, I Think So. They are both free patterns, and they're kind of in line with keeping a child clean. The next 2 items I plan to use for the 2 to 4 age group and the 5 to 9. So on the I Think So website, they have 2 different apron patterns. They call this one a toddler apron, and it is geared towards 2 to 5-year-olds. It has a tie in the back, and then these little straps up here, Velcro around the neck. It's lined. Now the pattern itself didn't have a pocket, but I took my pocket from the bib pattern that I had enlarged. So this is the 110% enlargement of the pocket pattern. Now I think this fabric is all from Hobby Lobby, but I thought it looked kind of like a rainbow mermaid type print. So I didn't make any adjustments to this pattern except for adding the pocket. It was really easy to put together and a pretty quick sew. So this will go in the 2 to 4-year-olds. I know this will definitely be big enough, and it may come pretty long on them. The other apron pattern they had, they call a girl's apron pattern, and they say that this is geared towards a 7 to 10-year-old. Of course, I've got this on an adult dress form, but I just wanted you to see kind of how it looks. So you can see it would be kind of small for an adult. And I kind of widened the pocket on this one. So I didn't want it to be floppy, so I did seam down the pocket. So it's kind of got a separated pocket right here. This one is almost the same, except that this top straps are a little bit different. It has a little, I guess, band yoke that goes across the top. And then it also has Velcro back here, just like these did. Now the pattern had like short straps that Velcroed right here, but I just extended mine so that they could tie. Now I noticed after I made these 2 aprons that there's not a lot of difference in the size of the aprons, because when I put this one up to this one, It's almost the same height. The only real difference in height is this piece right here. Otherwise, they're the same length. So I think on the younger girls, it's going to come pretty long on them. And then not as long on the older girls. So that is the Toddler apron, and then they call this one the Alina apron by I Think So, and they are both free patterns. And I'll put a link to them in the description below. The next item I wanted to share is one that I had mentioned in one of my kitchen gift videos. And it's a reusable snack or lunch bag. And it's a free pattern on the Hello Sewing website. Now this is a very easy pattern to make. It's basically 2 rectangles that are sewn and then turned and then just folded up and lapped over. So I made the inside and the outside from my laminated cotton. So it's easily wiped clean. You don't have to completely wash it each time. There's just a Velcro strip that goes across the front. So this is the one I originally made. I think it's supposed to be sandwich size, or you could put, you know, just a little snack, cookies or whatever chips in it. And I decided to make another one that's just a bigger rectangle. Now I think on this one, I think on their pattern they have this flap curved. On this one I just did it straight across. So it has the same Velcro. It's just a little bit more roomy than the other one. So I got to use some more of my laminated scraps from Splash Fabrics. Now the fourth item that I made is also from the I Think So website. It's a free pattern and it's called the Kim Clutch. It's just a cute little pouch. I made this one out of just quilter's cotton, and it's lined with quilter's cotton on the inside. And on these two, I used some canvas fabric from Hobby Lobby for the exterior. And then on the inside is just some quilter's cotton. I think they turned out really cute. I really like this farm animal canvas that I got from Hobby Lobby. I hadn't meant to get any fabric that day, but I was just passed by that area. And so I thought I've got to get at least a yard of that. So cute. Now for all of these, I did use some interfacing, but I think on the future ones, I think for the canvas, I don't really think it needs interfacing. It just gives a little bit more structure to it. This pattern also has the 2 tiny darts on the bottom. I've cut mine out so I can just kind of mark it with a pen easier when I'm cutting out the rectangle. Now I made this one first and I actually forgot that it even had darts. So this one doesn't have any little darts in the bottom, so you can see maybe that it's kind of just flatter, but it still works. And then the ones with the darts, if you can see it with this one better, it just gives it a little bit of a boxier bottom. So I do like that dart. For the closure, you can use snaps or buttons and buttonholes or Velcro. I use these fashion metal snaps that I got when I got my cam press. So I just waited till I got all of these 3 done, and then I did all the snaps at one time, which made it really quick. I think this is a really handy little pouch. You can put pencils or pens in it. It is about the same length as a pencil. Or you could put hair accessories, or maybe if you're putting a little boy's box, they could put like their little Hot Wheel cars or any little toys in it. So very handy. I think for my future ones, I am going to, like I said, if I just do it with a canvas and the lining, I'm not going to use the interfacing except where the snap goes. If I do the quilter's cotton for both layers, I probably will use maybe some light interfacing. But I think too that I'm going to just lengthen, make this a little bit taller, maybe another inch taller and maybe an inch wider, just so that it can hold more items. So make them just a little bit larger than this. So that is the Kim Clutch by I Think So. The next item I want to share is also something that kids can use to put their belongings in. You know, here in the US, we have tons of tote bags and backpacks and purses and all kinds of things to put our stuff in. But I feel like in some of these countries that the shoeboxes are going to, that the kids, they don't always have something to put their belongings into. And that shoebox will last for a while, but eventually it's going to fall apart. So I like to include items that they can put their stuff in. So my next item is called the Drawstring Ditty Bag. And this is from the So Can She website. So I've made several patterns already from So Can She's website. She has some free patterns that have tutorials with them, but she also has some paid patterns. Now, this is one of her free patterns. It does have a little tutorial with it. I think the only thing you have to do is sign up for her email letter, which if you haven't and you like little items like this, you need to sign up for the email letter, because each day she features one of her free patterns, and she's got over 30 or maybe 60 of them. She features one, and a lot of her free patterns, she has an optimized PDF that makes it easy to print off all the instructions. And sometimes there's templates that go with those instructions, and so you can just print those off. But to get the PDF free, you have to download that PDF the day that she mentions it on her email letter. So every day I go to my email, or try to, and look to see if it's an item that I want to make. And if I think I ever want to make it, I will go straight, click on it and go and just download it in my So Can She folder. But like I said, it is free. You can make it just from her website. I just like it when it's got a neat printable PDF to go with it. She also has a lot of free quilt designs. So I'm not really into quilting, so I don't usually download those. But if you are, she has a lot of those available, so that's a good reason to sign up and check your email for her newsletter. So this is just a little drawstring bag that cinches up like this. This bag is just made from 2 different quilters' cotton. Now you can purchase, ready-made cording, a skinny cord to put in this, or she says you can get like a 1/4 inch bias tape and stitch it down and put it in. I just made some self ties out of the Hello Kitty fabric right here. Now I think I forgot to mention this Hello Kitty fabric and the little coordinating pink fabric is from Michaels online. Now I didn't realize till like a month or so ago that Michaels even sold fabric. And in most of the stores, I don't think they have a fabric department. I know mine doesn't, but the fabric is available online. It is pretty comparable in price and quality to Hobby Lobby and Walmart. I think this Hello Kitty was like $6.99 or $5.99. And then I got some solid fabrics that were like $3.99, I think. Now I did notice that when they have a coupon, like if you get your whole order like 20% off, their fabrics are excluded from that. But they're already priced really reasonable, so I think they're still a good deal. And I got like 3 different cute Hello Kitty fabrics, but I think this is the only one I've made up so far. And then you probably can't tell, but this pink has some kind of little swirly hearts on it. This pattern is really easy to make up, and it's really easy to cut out. I think it only has 2 or 3 pieces. It does have this false bottom to give it some shape, and it's the first time I've made like a false bottom. But what you need for the false bottom is some ultra firm double-sided fusible interfacing, and she recommends the Peltex 72F. What I used for my bottoms was the Pellon Fuse and Shape heavyweight 2-sided fusible interfacing, because they have a heavyweight and a medium weight. And I can tell you this would be the most expensive item for this bag. The fabric, it doesn't take much, and so it's very economical to make the bag. And I think out of this package, you can get, if you piece some of the rectangles together, you can get like 4 bags. So this does make it a little bit pricey if you're making, a whole bunch of them, because I think I got this package on Amazon. I think it's about $10. But then I did find an Etsy seller that had 3 packages, and I think with shipping everything, they came out more like $8 for the package. So I have 3 more packages. So I should be able to do, you know, not one for every box, but at least half of them. Now I did have to modify this casing a little bit. It's supposed to turn down about a 1/2 inch, and then you're going to top stitch it, so that's going to take away a little bit of the room. And when I did my own ties, and you have to run both of them through each side, it made it really tight. I could get them through there, but it was just really difficult to cinch and uncinch. So I made my casings a little bit wider. I think I made them about 3/4 inch wide where they fold down, and then that was kind of perfect. So it's still tight enough to stay closed, but it's not so tight that the child can't open it easily. Here's what it looks like when it's all the way open. So it's not a super big bag, but I think a child could get quite a few items inside. Here's how it looks in size to like a water bottle. I'd put one in here just so it would kind of stand up so you could see it better. So pretty roomy. Now you could enlarge your pattern and make it a little bit bigger. Of course, then you would be using more of this stiff Pellon, so then that would make it more expensive. Now you can make the bag without the false bottom, but it's just kind of, you know, floppier. It still holds stuff, but I really like the stiff bottom. So I think this bag will work well really for any of the 3 age groups. I will probably use it mostly in the youngest one and probably the middle one, and maybe put some larger type of bags in the older kids group. So I've got this one made, and then I also got this one made. I think this will work for a boy or a girl. This fabric is also some of the fabric I got from Michael's. And I was talking about how some of the solid fabric is cheaper. I think it was like $3.99, and this was probably like $6.99. But I think that turned out cute. So when I was at Hobby Lobby the other day, they did have their trims that are on the rolls on sale. So I found this cording that I think is going to work well for these little drawstring bags. And that's just going to save me some time in making the bag, because I won't have to cut out the drawstrings and press them and sew them. In this certain type of drawstring, they didn't have a lot of color, so I got just some white and some kind of a cream color. I wish they would have had a black, because I think that would have worked well too for some of my darker bags, and especially the ones I'm going to be giving the boys. So that was the Drawstring Ditty Bag that you can find on the Sew Can She website. So I'm down to my last 2 items that I've gotten made, and this one is also from the Sew Can She website, and it's her convertible backpack tote. I put it on my dress form so you kind of see the size it is. Now when I first decided to make this, I didn't really take in consideration, I guess, the dimensions. And I was thinking it was more for like a child size, you know, like 6 to 12 or something. I thought it was going to be smaller. And then when I started making it, it turned out a lot larger than I thought. So I've used some of this canvas fabric with the farm animals that I had gotten from Hobby Lobby. And then the inside is just some quilter's cotton from there also. Now I think this is a well-drafted pattern. It has really good instructions. So this pattern is supposed to be like a tote bag, but that converts into a backpack. And on the front, it just slips over the shoulders like this. Now the cuter side is actually the underneath side. So on this side, it has a really nice zippered pocket, and it was really easy to put in. She goes step by step So you've got this zippered section pocket right here in the front. And then the inside is just one big cavity, but you could put an interior pocket on the inside. For this pattern, she does say if you're making it maybe with the canvas and not all quilter's cotton, that you don't have to interfacing, you can leave the interfacing off. So that's what I did, but it kind of makes it more like a tote to me because it isn't interfacing. I think if it was stiffer with the interfacing, it would maybe be more backpack looking. So mine doesn't have any interfacing except for where I put the magnetic snap. Has a magnetic snap on the inside. I did put some interfacing behind that area. So mine is, you know, a little more floppy. And it's pretty wide. Even though I think this is a cute pattern, I think it's kind of large to put in my shoe boxes, and I think it's kind of also wide for any of the smaller children. So this is the only one that I plan to make for my shoe boxes. It is kind of a time-consuming pattern, more than the other ones, and I think it's just a little too large, not only for the child but to pack in the shoe boxes, because I like to pack a whole bunch of stuff in there, and it's going to take up quite a bit of room. It would take up even more room if I had it interfaced and it was bulkier. I do think it's cute being convertible like it is. So that was the Convertible Backpack Tote by Sew Can She. So if you've made it this far in the video, thanks for staying with me. Now, I said this was my last item, but actually I forgot I did make one other item besides this one. This is my last sewn item. This is the Drawstring Backpack by Apple Green Cottage. Now, I've also made some of her other patterns before. If you saw the other Operation Christmas Child video I had a bucket hat that was really cute, and it was by Apple Green Cottage. So this is her Drawstring Backpack. It is a free pattern. It does come in a optional PDF that's like $3 if you want to make it easier to print off, because, you know, with most of the blog websites, they have a lot of different ads popping up everywhere. So it was about 12 pages long. So I did actually pay the $3 for this one, but you don't need to. Even when you pay for the $3 version, it's just neatly printed out with the pictures. There's no templates. It's still just the dimensions of each piece that you will need to cut. So there's no pattern pieces even if you get the $3 version. So this backpack pattern comes in small and large. The small is 10 inches wide by 15 inches tall and 2 inches deep. And the large is 13 inches tall, so 3 inches taller by 17 inches, so 2 inches wider, and then the same depth of 2 inches. Now this is the small size, so still pretty large. I think a really good size for kids. You know, the older group, I guess, could use the smaller one or the bigger one. The fabric I used is this really cute unicorn and rainbow canvas that I got from my Minerva haul that I shared a couple of videos ago. And also got the matching sort of darker teal from there too. And it's just lined with some quilter's cotton. Now, I did interface the outer pieces. I just used a really lightweight interfacing from Walmart. I think it actually calls for a heavier weight interfacing, but this does give it quite a bit of body to it. It has a really cute feature on the front where it has this hidden zipper pocket under this tab. So it's got a nice roomy pocket compartment right here. And then the zipper, it's just a normal regular zipper that you could get at Hobby Lobby or Walmart or anywhere. And so it's got this flap that comes over it. The pattern has really good instructions. I think I did redo this flap twice because I just didn't have it sewn quite close enough to the zipper. I think I had it too far away. But it should come right above your zipper, but still allow your zipper to move back and forth. I really liked the drawstring casings, because sometimes on bags it seems like the drawstring casing area is so tight, so small, that it's hard to get your drawstrings through. But this one's fairly wide. You can see how much room there is even with two drawstrings here. So I liked that feature. It also has a little carrying strap if you want to carry it that way. Besides this pocket, it does have a interior pocket. Let's see if I can show it to you. That has a flap. Kind of see it there. It has a flap, and then it has, mine has a snap, but you could put a button, or you could put Velcro, whatever you wanted on it. But I think that's cute. And then it's got these little tabs that come on the outside that hold your drawstrings. So for the small, you just need two 55-inch length cords. Now this cording is just some that I got off of Amazon. I actually just got it in this afternoon and ran it through. I will say that I think it's very sturdy, and it's supposed to be reflective. I think it's nylon or something. I think her pattern says like a 6mm cotton cording, which I think is more of like a macrame cording. And on Amazon, I didn't really see any colors that I liked for this. I really didn't want to put like a solid white, because I just feel like it's just going to get so dirty. But I think this nylon will stay a little cleaner, and it's white with a little bit of black threads running through it. Now I did notice when I cut this cord that it starts to ravel really easily. So what I did was just put some clear tape, wrapped it around the ends to keep that from raveling. Now she does say that you can box your corners, or you can leave it unboxed. I decided to go ahead and box the corners. I don't think I did my boxing quite as deep. I think she came down 2 inches from the corner. The corners are probably were the most difficult. Not that they were super difficult, but just because you're working with it's kind of bulky, and you got this little corner. So I think I just went 1.5 inches. So, and hers, I guess the corner boxing would come up a little closer to this tab. But anyway, it just kind of helps it give it more shape. Now, I would really like to make quite a few of these, especially for the middle and older kids group. This and the convertible backpack were the two most time-consuming items that I made. I think one of the things I'll do to kind of simplify it a little bit and make it a little quicker to make is just eliminate this zipper and this flap that goes over it, and make the two sides kind of more like this side, solid, but put a pocket like I did on the inside, which is a really quick make with the snap. Put it on the outside, and then also put it on the inside. So I think that will make it a little quicker. I think I will make them out of canvas, but I'm going to eliminate the interfacing altogether except for where the snaps are. And that'll just be fewer pieces to cut out, and, you know, less time ironing. I think if I do those two things, it'll still be very usable, but just a little quicker to make. So I do plan to do a follow-up video on Operation Christmas Child, maybe in the early fall, with some more items. And if I get some of these made with my quicker version, I'll show you those. So that was the Drawstring Backpack by Apple Green Cottage. So my last item is not a sewn item, but it's a knitted item. Several years ago, I had purchased an Addi circular knitting machine, because I had been seeing a lot of YouTube videos with the knitted caps. So I love the way knitted items look, but I've never really spent a lot of time learning how to knit. But with the circular machines, you can knit out a cap in 30 minutes or less. So in past years, I had knitted caps for pretty much all my boxes, you know, did them in different sizes. But when I get the tracking back, from where my shoe boxes went, I started to see that most of my boxes were going down to warmer weather countries like Mexico or Africa or Honduras, Guatemala, places like that. So I thought maybe they didn't really need caps that much. But I've gotten several comments from several viewers letting me know that these countries do have some cool enough weather that people do wear caps and gloves. You know, it's not the extreme winter that we might have, but cool enough to wear a cap. And they've also mentioned that when the kids have received caps and gloves that they're really excited about it, even if they're in Africa or Mexico or somewhere. I did look up the tracking for my boxes that I sent out last November, and it says that they went to Mexico and South Africa. So both pretty warm weather countries. So after I read those comments, I decided that this year I will go ahead and make up some knitted caps to put in my shoe boxes. So I got my little Addi knitting machine out a couple of days ago and just used it and made a couple the last couple of nights. So these are the ones I've made so far. My Addi is, I think, a 46 hook machine. And basically to make your hat bigger, you just add more rows. So for my youngest age group, I usually do about 60 or 65 rows. I think this little cap has about 65. Now, if you're not familiar with the Addi knitting machine or the circular knitting machines, this is doubled. So you pull one end, you draw up one end, you pull it up tight to the other end, and then you close this end in. So these are quite cozy and warm. They are doubled. So this is 65 from one end to the other. So only about 32 or 3 in height. So I think this works good for a 2 to 4-year-old. And even if it's a little bit, say a 2-year-old gets it, if it's a little bit long, they can just roll back and have like a little brim on it, which is cute. So for the shoe boxes, I feel that it's better to be a little long than a little short because they can just flip the brim back. So that's one I'll be putting in a little boy's 2 to 4. And I think this is the next smallest one I have. I think this one is about 85 or 80. And all this yarn I had in my stash, so I'm really excited about using up some of my stash yarn because I have drawers and drawers of yarn. So this gives me the opportunity to decrease my stash for a good cause. So all this yarn is just Hobby Lobby's I Love This Yarn. That's their acrylic yarn. And the Addi machine loves this yarn. This certain weight of the I love this yarn acrylic works really well with the Addi machine. Sometimes it doesn't work well if your yarn's too thin or if your yarn's too bulky, but it seems to love this yarn. And then you can always buy it when it's on sale. And this is the self-striping. I love their self-striping for these caps. Now when I was doing this one, I had a little bit of yarn left over, so I had this solid green, so I just kind of did a section. I used up the striped yarn in this middle section. Now this one turned out pretty long. I think it's like 110 rows. But like I said, they can turn up the bottom and make it shorter. So this will go in my oldest boys group. I really think this is really cute yarn. It's also the same kind of yarn. I just love these bright colors. And I think this one's 110 rows. This one may be 120 because it just looks a lot longer. And sometimes the way you hold the yarn that's going into your machine, it can make the tension tighter or looser. This one might just have a little bit tighter tension on it. But this will probably go in the oldest girls group. So that's all the items that I've made so far for Operation Christmas Child 2024. I do plan to try out some more new patterns, and I will be sharing those in a later video, probably maybe around September or October. I'll try to do it early enough that it gives people a chance to make some of those before the boxes are collected in November. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope it's given you some inspiration for your boxes. And if you did like the video, I'd love for you to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button. And as always, I would love to hear your comments. Let me know if you've made any of these patterns before, or if you saw one that you'd like to try. I think these patterns work well for Operation Christmas Child, but I think they would also work well for any organization that deals with children, or if you just want to make a gift for a child that you know. I hope everyone can keep cool in the coming weeks. We're definitely feeling a heat wave here in Arkansas. So until I see you in my next video, take care and happy sewing.